What's going on, guys? My name is Dillard, and I'm back at you again with another podcast, the Barnyard podcast. I think this will be number 20 or number 19. I can't pinpoint exactly which one this is because I actually did a podcast the other day with someone from John Boy Media named Kyle. That podcast will actually be up tomorrow. This one, it's actually 10:35 right now on August 9th. I was planning on uploading it still tonight. Just because of the whole issue with the Athletics and the Astros concerning the big skirmish, I would say. Even though there should not be a skirmish with COVID, there should be social distancing. But we're going to talk about that, and then we're going to talk about the less than ideal, mediocre series against the Rays. That was like, I don't even know how many situations that there were runners in scoring position, and the team could just not get the job done. But here's my co-host, John. He hasn't been on here for a while, but it's good to have him back. So, John, let's talk about that skirmish or that bench clearing between the Houston Astros and the Athletics in a time where there is still a global pandemic and players are not wearing masks, and the MLB made it very clear that they don't want players, getting into brawls and bench clearing with each other. So we're going to actually watch the video. So there's going to be like a fade in, fade out transition right here. So we're going to go ahead and watch that real quick.
We're going to take a field trip to Twitter. Okay, that one.
So, I mean, basically,
why does Laureano look like
do we think this is intentional? Because Laureano was hit twice this game. One from, who was the other reliever? The one that you were talking about earlier that they traded for, Brandon Bailey. And then the other one was Humberto Castellanos. I might have completely butchered that, but it is what it is. But basically, I mean, I don't think this is intentional. I mean, I don't
ever
see
think
it.
that anybody with a breaking ball and hits them with a breaking ball is ever intentional, because that's really difficult to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's just. I mean, here's the deal, though. This is Castellanos' third ever start in the majors. Why would he intentionally throw at someone in a scenario where the Athletics are up by 4? That doesn't make any sense.
I think it's really nice that Laureano's a real stand-up guy. I mean, he taught him how to throw a pitch. I mean, what a guy.
And then, basically Laureano is just kind of casually walking, talking to the umpire about the situation, Bob Melvin. Bob Melvin's always going to protect his players.
I feel like Bob Melvin gets thrown out of way too many games for no reason at all.
Oh, backstory behind this? Actually. Earlier in the game, Dusty Baker was thrown out of the game for arguing balls and strikes, so that kind of escalated the situation a little bit. And
but I mean, that was a bad call. It happens. Can you go back? I want to see where the catcher set up for that pitch. Where did he set up for that? I want to see that. He's down low and away, and I don't know where that pitch was going. I don't think it was intentional.
But that's probably could be like another reason why people think it might be intentional, because he's probably setting it up for low and away, and that is up and in. So.
Yeah, but that's where you release the ball when you're going to throw it, though. I mean, I've seen some of the sliders that, you see Britton and Chaz Rowe throw, where they just get, really out far on this side and just come across their body with it, and you just get this big sweeping curveball. So that's where you're aiming. You're aiming there. Have you ever seen the pitchers throw the curveballs and the guy buckles out of the way of it? That's because it looks like the ball's coming right at them, because that's what the release point is. So I don't think it's intentional. No, I don't think it's intentional at all. I think it's really bad timing. Yeah. I don't think it's intentional. And that's why nothing's happening here. Like, if it was really intentional and he thought it was intentional, he would have probably said something like, hey, why are you throwing at me? But he's not. He's just like, hey, buddy, you're messing up this slider. Let me teach you how to throw a slider.
Yeah. And then here, this is where it gets provoked. Because Laureano literally charges basically the hitting coach, Alex Cintron, and then we'll show you another angle, but Dustin Garnell basically puts Laureano in a headlock. Like, it's actually insane. He, wrestles him to the ground.
Who's the commentary for this? Which feed is this? Is this
is the
feed,
Athletics,
or is this...
yeah.
Okay. There's Lou Trevino. I know him. Travis, I think his name is Travis Straw.
And then basically Laureano held in another headlock by I'm not sure who that is, but
you control the head, you control the body,
basically. So this is just a huge mess, without a doubt, a huge mess.
This is bad.
I'm very curious to see how many people are going to get suspended from this.
I feel like I have as much of a chance to get suspended as the bench coach does. I think that they're going to be like, well, Laureano, he charged the bench coach. I mean, it's his fault. I don't know, he started this. Like, something stupid's going to come out of this, and I just can't wait to see what stupidity comes out of this, because it's been stupidity.
So that's the thing. Like, that's the thing. Like, if Castellanos didn't do it on purpose, like, because I don't think that was a purpose to hit Laureano for the second time in the same game. Who do you suspend on the Astros? Do you just suspend the hitting coach because he provoked Laureano? Yeah. Is that the only guy you suspend? You just suspend him and Laureano? Like, who do you suspend?
I don't know.
I
can't.
See,
I can't suspend anybody but the coach, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, he shouldn't be doing that.
And
why is he in the dugout?
That's the problem I see with this. Is a lot of people are expecting a lot of other players to be suspended from the Astros in justice of the fact that Joe Kelly was suspended for a significant amount of time. And it's like, the only guy you can pretty much suspend is Laureano and the hitting coach from the Astros, Alex Cintron.
I don't like suspending players for reacting to defending themselves. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, it's kind of like that dude that charged Randy Johnson, and Randy Johnson put him in a headlock and destroyed him. Like, you're going to suspend Randy Johnson for that? I wouldn't. You can't. I mean,
like,
clearly,
obviously,
what is the bench coach doing?
Yeah.
Why is he saying these things?
Now, I will say, while I do admit, and you agree with this too, that pitch wasn't intentional, because I don't think it was intentional at all. I also don't.
No one thought it was intentional.
I also don't think you can't expect anything different from Laureano when you're getting harassed by the bench coach, and nobody knows what he said. At least I haven't seen on any basically accounts on Twitter from any sports writers about what he said. All I know is apparently he insulted Laureano, but
I heard he insulted his mother.
Yeah. That's what it was.
Which, if you are from a Latin country, those are fighting words.
Mm-hmm.
They are absolutely fighting words. Joe Kelly's gonna find some way to get an additional suspension for this. I mean, I think this is a microcosm of this game. I feel like they're division rivals, so that they're constantly trying to compete with each other. I do not know what this bench coach is doing. I mean, clearly, no one thought it was intentional. I mean, Laureano didn't think it was intentional. The pitcher didn't think it was intentional. The umpire didn't throw him out, so he didn't think it was intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no one thought it was intentional. But this bench coach is just, talking smack to Laureano for no reason.
Again,
I'm not sure what he's doing.
So here's another basically view, and that's the thing. It's just like, he's provoking Laureano. And here's the funny thing. Like, he's basically hiding behind his guys. He's provoking the fight, yet he doesn't want to take on one-on-one with him. It's like,
I don't like that.
What are you doing?
He's like, come on, man. And then he gestures at him and then takes a step at him, and it's just like, no, bro, I don't want it.
And that's the thing. Laureano is like, he's not going to put up with that crap. And that's what I'm saying. Like, look at that headlock. Look at that headlock.
Look at him. Look at
Garnell put him in a headlock.
Look at the bench coach. He pushes. I think it's Gurriel, and then he backs up. He's just like, you got this. You got this. Like, watch him. Like, here he comes. He pushes him, and then just backs up. He just takes a step back. He's like, nah, man.
Literally, the real MVP.
I did my nails.
The real MVP is Dustin Garneau, because I actually saw something that Dustin basically said. He was just trying to get him to try to calm down Laureano, because he didn't want the situation to escalate, and that's the best you can do. Like, just try and de-escalate the situation as much as possible. And Dustin did a great job of that. He did exactly what he needed to do. So that's one angle.
I like it. I just think it's really funny the umpires are trying to run from across the field to catch up to them, because they're not doing it.
And, he's just basically provoking it, like, again, in the last clip. And then, he's got a wall of Astros right there.
If you're going to call somebody out like that, have the balls to come out and fight the guy, all right?
Dude, look at that. Look at Dustin Garneau, though. Like, that's insane.
I don't like that. In hockey, when you do that, you have a fight about it, and you don't have your teammates come stand in front of you to defend you.
Laureano literally got the Bryce Harper treatment and just threw his helmet straight on the ground. Except Harper, like, you remember when Harper threw it and it wasn't even close?
Strickland, yeah.
It was completely off of Hunter Strickland. But I mean,
no, it wasn't Gurriel, because Gurriel's right there. I don't know who that guy was.
Look at that, dude. He's just tackling the guy. I mean, like I said, that's all you can basically do.
If you look at this is not a deal for anybody, because this is how Laureano gets, like, something happens to him because his leg just bent awkwardly with all that weight on top of him. Oh, look at the umpires. They're just like, nope. Nope.
And like that's another bad thing. Like it's the whole thing, like the whole pandemic. It just doesn't make. It just makes the situation even worse because it's like now you wonder, is anyone gonna contract COVID if they bring it to their families, if they bring to other people. I'm not too.
Do they play tomorrow?
I'm not entirely sure, but I can.
It's going to be a feisty game tomorrow.
I can definitely look if they are playing, but I mean,
Google that.
Basically, that's pretty much all my thoughts. Like basically, the end results that I think, the end opinion that I have about this whole series is the fact that I
feel like the Astros are frustrated. They're very frustrated with their results right now. It's not working out. They play the Astros.
They play the Giants tomorrow, so no, they will not have to deal with the Athletics for the time.
I feel like the Astros are frustrated, and that's why the coach is mad. But I mean, I don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
Like, why is that coach even in the dugout? I don't understand. Why is he even there?
Mm-hmm.
Does he need to be there? He shouldn't have any contact with anybody. Not to mention the fact that this is in Oakland. This is in Oakland, right?
Yeah,
they're playing in Oakland. So the dugouts are literally 3 miles from the field. So I don't even understand.
They're chirping at him from the dugout.
Like someone should have like who this bench coach should honestly not be allowed to be in the dugouts at all.
Mm-hmm.
He shouldn't even be allowed to be on the field. I mean, so in the past I've seen, for instance, Sabathia on his day off where he steps on the field to defend somebody and he gets fined for being on the field. Like this coach should be fined for being on the field and he should be suspended, honestly. That's my opinion.
All right, so basically the end opinion that I was going to say, basically John already said most of it, but basically the end thoughts that I have about that is, it's a bad situation. It's not good in terms of there's already a pandemic going on. We don't know if they're going to spread it to friends and family and baseball, and then it's going to become the Miami Marlins all over again. That's bad because we don't want baseball to be suspended for the rest of the season or shut down, and we obviously don't want these guys severely sick like Freeman was with COVID. We want these guys all to be healthy. I mean, in general, I don't want anyone to have COVID.
Is it bad that Freeman isn't even the case study that I would even point to anymore? It's like I feel like the case study that I would point to is Rodriguez. Like he's really messed up.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's still dealing with symptoms. Like he's in a lot of trouble because his heart is he's sick. I feel like myocarditis or something like that. Like he has a heart infection now.
Mm-hmm.
It's messed up.
So there's that, and then obviously I don't think it was intentional, but I definitely do think the hitting coach provoking him, that is as intentional as it gets. I mean, he could have easily just shut his mouth and stopped talking and stopped provoking it. Obviously, I don't think Laureano should have went off and tried to attack him and start a bench clearing, but if I'm going to blame anyone, it's that Astros hitting coach for provoking him. And if it is true what you said, John, because like I said, I didn't know what it was exactly, but I did read something from a report on Twitter that it had to do something with him basically provoking him and insulting his mom. So it's just like, at the end of the day, it's like you're a hitting coach for a professional baseball team. On that level, it's kind of where you kind of just stop and look at yourself and look at yourself in the mirror and just say, how immature was that for me to insult someone's mother? Like, it pretty much doesn't get any more immature than that. And then you expect Laureano not to say something and retaliate back, and it's just like, obviously Laureano is going to get suspended, but obviously, like I told you earlier, I'm curious who's going to get suspended for the Astros, because a lot of people are already jumping to conclusions because of the whole thing with Joe Kelly and how that situation was handled. They are going to basically give the Astros the, caregiver treatment in a sense that they're just going to baby them and be like, oh, everything's okay, but Laureano, we're going to smash the band hammer on him. He's going to get like a 14-day suspension while the Astros get nothing. And I'm like, that's the problem I have. I don't know what suspensions are going to be handed out, but obviously the Astros need to be suspended in some sort of fashion. And I think it's mostly has to do with the hitting coach. So.
Yeah, I like I said, I agree with you. I don't think it was intentional. I think that no one thought it was intentional.
Mm-hmm.
Bonus points is Laureano's not going to get pitched inside anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to get some good pitches to hit, funny enough.
Mm-hmm.
So his numbers are going to be pretty good. But, you have to punish the Astros for this. You can't.
Yeah. Or the entire league. I mean,
it's not even about the whole scandal from last year. It's not even about that anymore. Now we're just talking about, in this microcosm of this game, in this instance, you need to punish somebody because You can't let this go on. You can't let them feel like they can get away with this stuff. No one is allowed to get away with this stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, first off, he's not allowed to be, she shouldn't be on the field. He shouldn't be interfering with the game. He should be quiet and have his batters hit, which they aren't doing. I know they're frustrated, but you can't be just yelling at opponents' players and expect to be okay.
Yeah. That's on your own team. Like, that's your problem. You can't sit there and try to take out your frustrations on the other team because you're not doing your job.
Right.
Basically. So, I mean, that's pretty much all I have about it. Do you have any other additional thoughts on the matter other than...
No, but that bench coach is honestly a wimp. Like, I've never seen someone try to incite a fight and then back away from the fight and then act all tough. Like, what a wimp. Like,
he's basically the definition of a keyboard warrior. He acts tough, but when
he's a keyboard warrior, you're right.
He acts tough, but when it comes to shove, he's going to be the first one behind a friend's back. He's going to be in the very back,
he went
trying
home
to avoid
his wife
from it.
tonight and said, "Honey, you wouldn't believe it. I got in the middle of a fight today." Honestly, that's all I got. Like, the dude needs to step up and man up. Fight your own battles. If you're gonna incite a fight the battle. Yeah. Don't hide behind your teammates. Fight the battle.
That's true. All right, so that's pretty much all we have about it. Let us know in the comment section what your guys' thoughts are on. We would love to see what you guys think about it. Doesn't matter if you're a Yankee fan, Astro fan, Athletics fan, whatever you are. Just if you have an opinion on it, comment down below and let us know what you think. I'll read them and maybe have a conversation with some of you in the comments.
Laureano is now Edward Norton of the Joe Kelly Fight Club.
Did you see that Twitter account called Astros Shame Tour 2020?
Yes.
Did you see the Mount Rushmore picture? It has Joe Kelly and Laureano on it. And there's two more. I actually quote tweeted it and I was like, could you imagine if one of the people that was on there next, like the third or fourth person to make that list on the Mount Rushmore of basically provoking the Astros is Mike Trout? Like, could you imagine Mike Trout?
Mike Trout's too nice for that.
Could you imagine though? Like, the thought is just hilarious to me. Like,
but Mike Trout is too nice for that. You know how Mike Trout would do it? He wouldn't do anything. He'd beat you by beating you. He wouldn't beat you by doing anything stupid. He'd beat you by beating you.
I can't remember the pitcher's name. He was from the Royals, but do you remember that one incident? The only incident I can recall in Mike Trout's career where he actually got somewhat angry. Yeah. Do you remember that pitcher from the...
I thought it was Ventura.
Yeah, Ventura. And then Albert Pujols comes sprinting from second base, trying to get in his face and whoa, like, chill.
I thought Pujols came across the field and then just ran and just... Yeah, I forget. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and it's like, why are you trying... Okay, first off, it's literally Mike Trout. It's like, why would you have any reason to get mad at the guy? Like, there's no reason to start a fight with him.
Dude's the nicest guy I've ever seen. How could you be mad at Mike Trout except when he beats your team?
But that's pretty much all we have about that, and then I think we'll save the last topic for now. We're gonna talk about the... do we really want to talk about this? Because every time it makes me look at it on paper, it just angers me. We're gonna talk about the 4-game series versus the Yankees and the Rays, where the Yankees only took 1 out of 4 games from the Rays. It was overall a very bad series. I thought I was watching the 2018 Yankees in a sense that they kept running. I can't even remember, because it happened so many times, how many times bases were loaded and they couldn't get any runs in. And I tweeted this earlier during the game. I was like, after the 2-run error from Gio Urshela out in center field, I was like, it is so sad and depressing that the only way that the Yankees have been managing to score other than outside of the first game of the doubleheader was because of an error. And it's like, it shouldn't happen because of that. You guys should be driving in runs. And it's like, I get it, but it's like, it was at bat after at bat. Well, yeah, we've had that talk. I do want to pinpoint that I think a lot of people have forgotten just how ridiculous, from top to bottom, from the starting rotation down to the bullpen, how ridiculous the Rays lineup is. And if there's a team that can win a championship off of pitching alone, it's them. And that's the scary thing, is they can prevent you from scoring, 2 or 3 more runs, and then they'll still win games. They can beat you 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, like these low-scoring affairs. They did it. How many times did they do it this time? It took a bases-loaded walk today, and then a 2-run error for the Yankees to even score a single run today. And those were basically the Rays gifting them runs. That had nothing to do with what the Yankees were doing.
a thought crossed my mind. I'm like, are we really going to win this game off of a hit by pitch and an E8? Because, yeah, I don't know about this one. Sucks.
But
it was rough. It was rough, but we'll be okay. I'm not worried.
I'm definitely not worried though. I'm not. We can definitely sit here and admit that the series was pretty much suboptimal in terms of performance. But we can also sit here and we can also sit here and say that, are we panicking? No, not really. I mean, I'm not, of course. I think the Yankees will be fine. They just had a bad series. It happens. It's a good pitching team. If there's any team that I want to have, a tough series against, it's probably the Rays because it's their pitching. The pitching is so dominant. It'll be okay. Once they come back and they play the Rays again, we play the Rays again, I think, next week for a 3-game series. It's going to be in the Bronx. I think everything will be fine. I think we'll take 2 out of 3 from them. Everything will be fine. At least I think so.
I'm not worried about anything. I mean, if you look at the games are exactly how you would imagine a game would go between 2 really good teams. You have literally one bounce of the ball determine the game. Like Judge missing the home run by 3 feet. That's fine. Happens. That's the game right there. You have today where literally they were just 1 hit away and they just got bad luck. It happens, The Rays, the thing that people don't understand is the fact that not only do they have a good pitching staff, but they're really smart with their placement of the shift, taking away base hits. And it's more than that. It's more than just placing runners. It's also pitching in such a way so that way the only place you can hit the ball is into the shift. For instance, if you have a left-handed hitter up at the plate, you're not going to throw anything outside to him. You're going to jam him inside the entire day. So even if he does swing, the only place he hits it is to the pitcher or into the shift. Like, it's a 2-step system. Not only do you have good placement of runners, but you know where to pitch the guys, and they executed, and they did it. It happens. I'm not worried. We'll be okay. I mean, the only thing I'm worried about is I wish Stan didn't get hurt, but that is what it is. You can't.
I will at least say though, because I don't want to put the blame on him entirely. I talk to you about this usually, and if there's one thing that Yankees Twitter is formally known for, it's every time that there is a loss, they blame Aaron Boone every time. I've never been one of those people. I've never been one of those people that jumps the Boone wagon. I know we talked about it a little bit. I know Paxton was dealing. I think he's finally back. I know we kind of have our different opinions on it. I pretty much personally believe that after the 7th inning, I think Boone probably maybe should have pulled him out, especially after that first home run where it was 3-2.
Yeah, maybe after the first home run, but not after the double.
No, of course not. The only reason I say that is because, like I told you earlier, when we were off the air, not talking about it on the podcast, basically, I know Paxton's numbers are still extremely solid. It's actually kind of weird. His numbers are very similar from the second time in the order to the third time in the order. If I'm not mistaken, his numbers through the third time of the order are actually better, at least in the last few years, than his numbers are through the first time of the order. And that probably could be because his first inning struggles. That's probably my guess.
I'm looking at his innings beforehand, and he was still mowing people down.
Yeah, I mean, he had 11 strikeouts. Literally, before the 7th inning, he hadn't given up a single run. Did he only give up, 1 or 2 hits?
He gave up a hit to the leadoff batter, and then I think he immediately got a double play.
Yeah, it's just like he was dealing, and his velocity was coming back up, and his command, those curveballs.
Strikeout, double play.
He was, I mean, I don't know if you watched the game.
I did not.
Were you listening to you were listening to the radio? Yeah, Paxton's curveballs were just filthy. Like, they were disgusting. Like, his movement was back. His fastball, it looked a little sketchy in the beginning because his velo was still around, 92, 91 with it. And he started bringing it back up, and he started looking like the old Paxton that, we used to love. Well, obviously, I still love. A lot of people other love. But I guess what I'm trying to say is he's finally becoming the Paxton again that we need him to be. The solid starter that we basically traded for, in terms of Justice Sheffield.
Let me give it to you this way. So I'm looking at the 7th inning. He gives up a leadoff double, comes right back, and he gets the next guy to pop out. He gets the next guy 0-2 on good pitches, and then just makes a mistake. Just makes one mistake, one bad pitch, and then he follows that up with just a hung cutter, and then that's it. That's the game. Unfortunately, that's what happens when your team only scores 3 runs.
But that's the other thing. Like, I don't want to be one of those people that it constantly blames Aaron Boone, because I hardly ever say anything negative about Aaron Boone because I genuinely love him as a manager. But if we're going to be honest, the Yankees got to score more than 3 runs off of a walked-in run with bases loaded and a 2-run. Well, it wasn't even counted as RBIs because it was an error. So literally all 3 runs that were scored were gifted by the Rays, and you just can't do that. You gotta find ways.
If you have a series where you're facing Blake Snell, it's Paddock, right? Chris Paddock?
No, Chris Paddock's with the Padres. You mean Tyler Glasnow?
Glasnow. Yeah, you're right. Mm-hmm. If you have a series where you're playing Blake Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Charlie Morton, and Charlie Morton goes 2 innings, Glasnow goes, I think, 2 innings, and Snell goes maybe 2 innings, you should probably win those games. You probably should win those games. Unfortunately, we didn't.
I think that's something we should talk about. Can we talk about the fact that all 3 of their best starters, Chris Snell, Tyler Glasnow, and Charlie Morton, they were all 3 out of the game pretty early.
We showed up with a great plan to make them work. However, we couldn't put the bat on the ball in big spots. Like, we had a great plan to really work their pitch counts, and we did a really good job at it. Unfortunately, we just couldn't find a way to get anyone home. Except for the second game, when we won 8-4. That was a good game.
Pretty much it was all about the bullpen. I mean, the bullpen, the Rays bullpen just, and it was funny because I saw someone tweet it out, and I mean, I've already known since last year how dominant their bullpen was. Yeah, but I never really thought about the fact that there are so many guys that seem like they throw sidearm, and there's so many guys in their bullpen that have such nasty breaking pitches, whether it's a slider or a curveball. Especially, you see like those breaking pitches that Chaz Rowe was throwing the other day. Those were filthy.
Chaz Rowe's a wizard. I don't know what
it's like. How do you even hit that? It's disgusting. And it's like, it's not just Chaz Rowe. It's like reliever after reliever after reliever. It's just they all have filthy stuff, and that's what's so difficult about the Rays bullpen. That's why I think ironically enough, even though the Rays have Charlie Morton, they have Snell, and then they have Glasnow, I think your best way at beating them is to get to those guys early and try and get them out of the game as fast as possible.
They all had good weekends. I mean, even Castillo had a bad time when he came in originally. Like, he couldn't find the strike zone. But the problem with their setup is the fact that if they rely on the bullpen, eventually you're going to find somebody who is not on, and you're going to wreck them. It just so happened that all of them, for the most part, had pretty good innings. It happens. Sometimes they're all on, and sometimes it just works out that way. But eventually, it's kind of like the opener strategy. Eventually, the opener is going to be not on. And eventually, like, for instance, the wild card game in 18, when we faced...
the Oakland Athletics?
When we faced Liam Henderson in the wild card game, and he comes in, he doesn't look sharp. And you have him walk McCutchen, and then Judge hits a home run. That's it. The game's over. Game's over. That's it. You blew it. Like, eventually one of the relievers is not going to be on. So that offense doesn't score a lot. You have to just sit there, buy your time, stick to the plan, take pitches, swing at good pitches, and just hope that you find a way to beat the shift against them. And that's how you beat them.
Very, very, very true. Is there pretty much anything?
We were in every game. We were one swing of the bat away from tying the game in a lot of situations. Sucks.
And that's the reason why, like I told you earlier, it's like, am I freaking out? No. I mean, every team, like, literally, we just talked about it. The Twins just got swept by the Royals.
The Rays are a playoff team. We lost 1-0 to them, 4-3. We had the tying run come up 3 feet short of the wall, and we beat them 8-4. I think that's a pretty good indication that they're a good team and that we're going to play them. But, we just had a couple bad breaks not go our way. It happens.
But that's why I said, I think going into the Bronx against the Rays, I think when do we play them? When do we play the Rays again? We play the Rays on the 18th, 19th, and 20th in New York.
Yeah, sure we do. We'll see. I don't know.
Well, hopefully, but if we do, I think the Yankees will come out swinging. I think they'll be better.
The way the schedule is getting rewritten every day, I don't even know what's even going on anymore.
Basically, whenever we do play the Rays in the Bronx, the upcoming series, we might not sweep them, but I definitely expect us to get 2 out of 3 because I think by then we might figure them out a little bit more. The scouting reports, they might look at these guys.
That plays
yeah, And not to mention, like you said, like the Royals just or not Royals, sorry, the Royals just swept the Twins, and the Twins are such a good team. Their offense is ridiculous. That's why they're
Twins,
called the.
they lost 3 in a row now. One of the Pirates and 2 to the Royals.
Mm-hmm. But
God help.
that's the point. It's like, sometimes you just have those weeks. Even really bad teams can come out and sweep really good teams. It happens. That's what baseball
why
is.
Teams don't go 162-0. It happens. You're going to lose a couple of games. It's fine. We're still on pace to win about 40 games and win the division. It's fine. I'm not worried. I mean, it's going to be a long season. It's fine. I'm not worried. Even if it's only 60, it's going to be a long season. We'll be okay. We still play a lot of bad teams. We still play the Orioles. We still haven't played the Blue Jays yet. So go against the Red Sox. Play the Marlins. We're fine. I'm not freaking out. I'm okay.
The Mets.
I'll freak out when we go 10 below 500. Then I'll freak out. But I'm not freaking out at 10-6. Too early for that.
And then we're not going to talk about it until later. But the upcoming series that we do have, because the Yankees apparently have Monday off tomorrow. They have a series against the Braves. They have a 2-game series against the Braves on Tuesday and Wednesday. And that could go either way. I could see the Braves taking one and the Yankees taking one, to be honest with you. But
is Josh Donaldson back yet? Did we find out what's wrong with him?
Who exactly?
Donaldson.
Wait, no, yet? Donaldson's with the Twins though.
Oh, is he with the Twins now?
Yeah. He's signed with the Twins. Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, but Donaldson is still out for the
Twins.
So
you're saying no, he's not back yet. He's not back with the Braves.
No, he's not.
Back with the Braves.
No, he is not.
MIA.
He is not in the southeast part of the country, Jad. He is at the northern part of the country now. He doesn't play for the Braves. He plays for the Twins now.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, there's a chance the bringer of rain will come up to Yankee Stadium and just show up. Just be like, I'm ready.
Basement right now?
I should know this, man.
Where does Ozzy Albies play?
Doesn't he play second?
Does he? I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not familiar with the NL East teams.
Yeah, he plays second. Yeah, I was like, okay. Please tell me I'm not wrong. Because Dansby Swanson plays shortstop.
Oh, but who's third baseman then?
Oh my God, I feel so bad for Charlie Culberson.
Oh yeah.
Wow, really? That might be why I don't know that was their third baseman, because I didn't really expect that. You can tell how much I watch the Braves. You really can tell how much knowledge I have about the Braves. I mean, outside of Acuna and Albies and Freeman and maybe Swanson.
Marcell Ozuna. That's all I know.
Austin Riley. I know a lot of Braves fans want to send Austin Riley to the moon, but that's none of my business. I know they have Travis d'Arnaud, though, from the Rays.
Yeah,
so
They have the Mets killer, Travis d'Arnaud.
The Yankee killer, too. Jeez.
Yeah, apparently.
But, yeah, I mean, pretty much the last thing I'm going to say is I hope the Yankees sweep them, but I definitely could see a split series because the Braves are a solid team with a solid offense. I'm not really sure what their pitching situation because Soroka's out, and we also know Fulty Newix got that was bad. Got DFA'd, designated for assignment.
And even worse, nobody picked him up.
Yeah.
He cleared waivers.
I'm honestly surprised the Red Sox didn't go after him. To be honest with you, with their
Red Sox need a pitcher.
With their situation with pitching
on the wall, they're like, nah, bro, we don't want any of that.
But that's basically all
I feel like the Red Sox are at a full roster, and they don't want to drop someone for a chance at Foltynewicz.
But I mean, that's pretty much all we have. Like I said, that's pretty much all we have at this point because I'm not entirely sure who is pitching.
I have a theory.
Okay. But before your theory, I was just going to point out that I don't know who's going to pitch. We don't know what the lineup is, so I'm not really don't really know what to talk about too much with the Braves and Yankees series. All I'm going to say is I hope to see better results. I hope to see with runners in scoring position, they score more. The bats are working. The pitching we need more pitching like we did from this series. Tanaka looked good. We can talk about Tanaka. Tanaka looked fabulous. No run support. James Paxton, hardly any run support. We need that run support.
Yeah,
and I think the Yankees will be a lot better. I think they'll be swinging the bats a lot more effectively against the Braves because, like I said, we've said it before in the past, the Rays are a top-notch organization as far as their pitching is from top to bottom.
They're smart. That lineup is built on run prevention.
So what is your theory? So we'll go ahead and end off this podcast
So
on your theory.
what I'm saying is today is a great example of why Matt Blake is a really good pitching coach. You watch Mike Paxton come out today and have a really good plan. Apparently, they tweaked some things.
Mm-hmm.
His spin rate is up. He got more velocity. He was pitching with confidence. He was pitching with a purpose today. If you looked at it, that guy was pitching with like his pants on fire. Super excited to see him come out next week. I'm excited to see what Matt Blake and alongside Garrett Cole can teach these guys about how to pitch, because they have a plan and they're putting it together. Like Paxton today was amazing. Loved seeing it. He looked confident. He looked like he was just like, strike one, strike two, dugout. Give me the next guy. Strike one, strike two, dugout. Like, and he didn't care.
You were listening to John Sterling, right, on the radio? Yeah. Okay, so actually, I can tell you this from watching the actual broadcast with like crazy. Yeah, watching the broadcast with Michael, David, and Paul. They were actually all talking about the fact that Paxton was it was pretty much just one up, two up,
strike one
up,
strike two,
one down, basically just constantly. And Paxton, there were some people that were trying to call time because Paxton was just like, come on, get up get up in the batter's box and let's go. Like, he was just rolling through it. He's like, I want to pitch. Let's just get through these innings left and right. So he looked solid. He looked confident. And like to bolster your point a little bit about being excited about Matt Blake, your theory, you could also make that same argument about Tanaka, because Tanaka looked a lot better this start than he did his first start. So
really good.
But Tanaka again, for some reason, Tanaka is one of two things. He is tough as nails in October. Always. And two, he literally is always pitching a gem, it seems like, against the Rays. It just like he always pitches so well against the Rays.
I saw a picture of like Tanaka and there's a bunch of kids, and it's like, oh look, he took his children out for a walk today. They put Rays logos on all the kids after he threw the complete game. I swear Tanaka has like 3 or 4 complete game shutouts, and like 2 or 3 of them are against the Rays. I swear. It's funny.
We had one last year. Remember that was incredible.
I think it's 4, and 2 of them are against the Rays, because one's against the Red Sox. Something like that. It's crazy. It's weird.
If only Matt Blake could help J-Happ, but I think he's so far off it's not even funny.
Yeah, I don't know. You have to have J-Happ. I know J-Happ buys into it, because I've seen J-Happ with Pitching Ninja t-shirts. So I know J-Happ buys into it, but I don't know if he can really be of help with spin rate and like tunneling, like Trevor Bauer, for instance. Like, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited because I want to see it. I remember I heard a story about Tanaka. Garrett Cole was like, "Hey, Tanaka, you should throw some high fastballs," and Tanaka threw a high fastball, and it ended up in the seats. And he's just like, "Nope,
don't do that." It's kind of like Major League, where he throws the ball and it hits the cutout right in the face.
Right in the face, yeah, Wild Thing. I was talking about how Michael King was like Wild Thing the other week. So Michael King walked like 6 people. I was like Wild Thing when he got his image together and he started throwing a bunch of really stupid pitches and he couldn't find the strike zone anymore.
Yeah, we won't even talk about that game. What was it like? Was it 8 or 9 walks?
God, 9. How do you expect to win with 9 walks?
Yeah, it was really, really, really bad. It was
a lot of walks, bro.
It was a very painful. I will actually look this up before we end the podcast because I'm
not sure what happened with him. Not sure if it was just him not willing to attack hitters or if he legitimately lost the zone. I don't know. But it was weird because once he found the zone, he mowed people down for 3 innings until he gave up a double, and then that's it, lost the zone again. I was like, what is going on?
There was a total of 9 walks thrown from the Yankees pitching, and 5 of them were Michael King in 3.2 innings. That is less than ideal.
That was bad.
And then Avalon came out, and he just didn't have it. And then Abreu came out, and Abreu just didn't have it either.
I think Abreu was just there as a debut, and also Joey West. It's the only reason, he was there to make a debut. Like, they were like, And then the part that killed me is Talkman leads off the 9th with a single, and then and then Voit comes up and just immediately hits into a double play, and then the offense goes off, and then like I forget what happened to that. I think it was Gio, like DJ hit, and then like Gio gets on base and Krause hits a double, and then DJ hits them both in, and then Judge comes up and hits a ball like 2 inches from the wall. I'm just
Yeah, it's just
never lucky. It was the problem that happened is Judge hit that ball, and then a stiff breeze came in from left field and just took the home run away. It happens.
Yeah, it's those catwalks, and the catwalks bounced it back. Yeah. They're like, oh no, not today, Aaron Judge. You have too many home runs. You're playing way above your level right now. You need to come back down to earth, sir.
Chill out, bro. That's all I got, pretty much.
Alrighty, well, that's pretty much all we got. I hope you guys did enjoy the podcast. I know a lot of times we pretty much kind of go all over the place, but I think that's the positive I would say about our podcast. Not a negative, is the fact that we could pretty much go anywhere and talk about anything that we want to and have a genuine conversation and make it interesting. Yeah. So that's pretty much it for me. Is there anything else you want to say, John?
No, I'm good. I can't wait for the Astros to get as long of a suspension as I do.
My goodness.
I'm ready.
Outside, I will say this though before we leave. Alvarez, Brantley, and Greinke, all three of those guys do not deserve slander because they weren't on that 2017 team. I'm going to say it right now. Those three guys do not deserve it, especially Greinke, who just signed with them last year midway through. Actually, what was it, in August pretty much?
It's so weird that people are like,
beginning
you can't
of August.
also yell about Cole either. You can't give Cole. He wasn't there. Like, some people are like, "Oh man, we can chant that Cole. He's with the cheaters," and I'm like, "You didn't even win the championship with them.
Yeah,
I wasn't even there."
Yeah, but that's pretty much it. We plan on having a podcast here soon. Hopefully, John can join me, but I will actually have a few other guests that will come on in the next week too. So definitely keep an eye on those. But this is Dillard. And this is John signing off on podcast number 19 or 20. And we will see you guys later. Have a wonderful night.